everybody. Welcome. It's 3 o'clock, of course, our everyday live stream hour. And I see a couple people have joined in, so thanks for being here. Again, my name is Angie, and I am an interpreter for California State Parks up here in beautiful Northern California in the North Coast Redwoods District. So this page that you all are following, thanks so much for following. And go ahead and share with your friends, share this live video so your friends can watch with you. And tune in every day at 3 o'clock. We have different interpreters from our district coming to you live on this Facebook page so we can all connect during this time of social distancing. We miss you all in our parks and in our campgrounds, but we appreciate you all taking the proper steps to keep everybody safe, keep yourselves and your communities safe. So I'm washing my hands a bunch and kind of keeping that good social distancing. So I hope you all are too. If you are, go ahead and pat yourself on the back because that's so awesome. And I love that you're still connected with us through Facebook and through Facebook Live. So definitely do share our page, share this video, follow us on Instagram at north_redcoast_redwoods to kind of get more updates and see more stuff from around the district. So without further ado, welcome to our live stream. Again, I'm Angie for everybody who's just joining us. Thanks for being here. I am going to, you might notice last week I was indoors reading a story, which I thought was really fun. But I thought today I would bring you all outdoors to one of my favorite places and give you some beautiful scenery to look at. So it's a little bit windy. I hope everybody can hear me okay. If it gets too windy, maybe I'll just stop talking for a moment and let you all take in this beautiful view. Those of you who are local to maybe Humboldt County or to the Humboldt Bay region, I am standing at the edge of the Humboldt Bay, which is one of my favorite places because it's an amazing place to come wildlife viewing and enjoying maybe kayaking if that's something you like to do. Maybe not right now because it's really low tide and it's a little blustery out, but it's a beautiful place. And so I wanted to bring you all here and tell you a little bit about this special place. I'm trying to shelter myself below this tree right here, which is providing great block from the wind and a nice block from the cold as well. So I'm here at the edge of the Humboldt Bay, and you might be asking yourself, Angie, why are we at the Humboldt Bay? There's no state park in the Humboldt Bay. And you're absolutely right, but there's something similar called a marine protected area. So every week when you tune in on Mondays at 3 p.m., you'll be talking with me live, and we'll be talking about marine protected areas. So I'm a big marine habitat lover myself, and so I've brought you out to a place where there's a marine protected area right here in the Humboldt Bay. So maybe if you're from this area, you are familiar with the Humboldt Bay. It's actually the second largest estuary north of another estuary in California, another bay that's really famous. Maybe somebody that's watching wants to type in their guess of that really large bay or large estuary in California. That is the largest. There's a little bit of a lag, but I'm of course talking about the San Francisco Bay. And right here behind me is the Humboldt Bay, so the second largest estuary in California. So this is a special place, and it's lovely to look at when it's sunny and when it's a little bit foggy and windy and on and off raining like it is today. But there's a special place in the Humboldt Bay called the Marine Protected Area. And we also have many other marine protected areas in California. I'm going to try and bring you to different MPAs every week. But today we are here at the Humboldt Bay, and the marine protected area that exists in the bay behind me is called the South Humboldt Bay State Marine Recreational Management Area. What a name. And that's a really special place because it has your interests in mind. It's protecting your ability to recreate. So we can all go enjoy the Humboldt Bay by kayaking or bird watching or hiking at various different places around this region. And the South Humboldt Bay State Marine Recreational Management Area also protects a lot of really amazing creatures and their homes. So I want to tell you a little bit about those animals today and introduce you to them and maybe give you some tips on how to identify them if you ever find them on the beach. So those of you who are familiar with this area, you might know that the Humboldt Bay is separated from the Pacific Ocean by a peninsula. And kind of on the other side of the peninsula a little bit up the coast a bit, we have another marine protected area called Samoa State Marine Conservation Area. And I'm sure many of you have visited that place. And if you haven't, I'll try and take you there in the next couple of weeks, live on Facebook, of course. And those two marine protected areas are actually connected, believe it or not. Although they're in two kind of different parts of this area, they are connected. So I'm going to introduce you to some of the animals that live there. And I have some props to help me. So it might be hard to imagine that many animals can survive out here. You can see it's really low tide right now. But in some places in the Humboldt Bay, there is water all the time. Obviously not right here. But in those places, we have tons of wildlife. We have a lot of eelgrass, which produces a ton of oxygen for those animals. So it's a great habitat. We have leopard sharks in the Humboldt Bay. Woohoo! They look like this. You might be surprised because leopard sharks are commonly found kind of in sandy bottom environments. I've seen them a lot in Southern California. But we also have them up here in the Humboldt Bay. And sometimes people actually fish for leopard sharks. But of course, in our marine protected area, these leopard sharks are safe, which is pretty awesome. Another animal that lives in the Humboldt Bay is a type of stingray. So I have this little prop right here to show you. And this stingray is called the bat ray. Looks a little bit different than this. Kind of has like a diamond shaped body, but they like to hang out in our marine protected area as well. People also like to fish for them, but of course not in our MPA because these guys are safe. And the third animal I want to introduce you to is the one I'm going to highlight today the most. This guy right here. Those of you who are local or local to California know that crabs are an important part of our marine environment. So this crab right here that I'm holding represents a really special crab that we have up here in the North Coast Redwoods district called the Dungeness crab. So maybe some of you have eaten a Dungeness crab before. Maybe you've seen them along the beaches, or maybe you've seen juvenile Dungeness crabs when you're at the beach. It's pretty common to see them. And today I want to teach you a little bit about them and how you can identify if a crab is a Dungeness crab. So some fun facts about Dungeness crabs are that they molt. So if you've ever walked along maybe the shores of Humboldt Bay or our beaches along the peninsula, like near Samoa State Marine Conservation Area, you might have seen something like this. I'll hold it up so you can see really well. Maybe somebody knows what this is. You can type it into the box if you do. Maybe the scientific name for this. You can see on the back, it's hollowed out. Sometimes you'll find them with their claws still attached. And I have a couple examples for you. You can see that they range in size and sometimes in color. They can sometimes get a little bit bleached out by the sun, like you can see on this really big one. So these are all the exoskeletons of the Dungeness crab, or a carapace. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody typed that in. Great job. And I picked these up from our local beaches, not in a marine protected area, so that I could show all of you. And I want to point out a couple things about this carapace, or this exoskeleton for the Dungeness crab for you. So I have three. I'm going to try and hold them up for you so you can see the different sizes. Here we go. Three different ones. There we go. And one thing that's really interesting about the Dungeness crab is that they molt. So basically when their crab, or when their shell starts to feel, their carapace starts to feel a little bit tight, they basically squeeze out of it and develop and harden a larger shell, right? And so Dungeness crabs will do this up to about 15 times before they are the legal size for when people maybe catch them and eat them. And then once they're adults, they do this about one time a year. And throughout the year, usually in the late spring or late summer, kind of throughout those warmer months, if you're on our beaches, you'll find tons of these Dungeness crab carapaces. and maybe you didn't know that they were Dungeness crabs. And if you didn't, I'm going to teach you how you can identify them right now. So I'm going to use this big one as an example. First thing that can help you identify is the coloration. So this one's a little bit bleached, but they kind of have like a brownish purple color. And another major thing that helps me identify them is, let me see if I can position this for you. You might be able to see there's some kind of spines here along the side. Here we go. Where's the camera? There we go. So hopefully that gives you a closer look. And a Dungeness crab will always have 10 spines along their sides. So starting here and ending kind of right close to their eye up here. So I'll try and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's how you know for sure that it's a Dungeness crab. Carapace. And there's another feature that I'll go ahead and introduce you to. Let me see if I can find it. And that's this right here. Another thing that is common to find on the beaches. Of course, this is the claw of the Dungeness crab. And you can tell that this is a Dungeness crab by a couple things. This one again is a little bit bleached by the sun, but if you find a fresh one, you'll notice that the tips of the claws are white. So that's a feature that the Dungeness crabs have. And you might notice as well that on the top, here we go. On the top right here, there's sort of a serrated edge on the outside. So that's how you know that it's a Dungeness crab claw. And if you ever see these on the beach, a really great thing you can do is take a photo on your phone and upload it to the iNaturalist app so you can contribute to biodiversity science. So basically telling people what lives where and in how and in what quantity. So go ahead and photograph any animals that you see on the beach, especially near a marine protected area, because this helps inform kind of what lives in our MPAs, what's thriving there, and what we're actually working to protect. So I hope that that was informative for all of you. And maybe if you're taking a walk in your neighborhood, if you live on the peninsula or around the Humboldt Bay, you have the opportunity to come visit some of our marine protected areas. So head on out to Samoa SMCA. It's right near Malel Dunes. And check out what you can find on the beach there. You'll probably find some sand dollars, some Dungeness crab shells, some clam shells. Of course, we are going to leave all of these little things where they are if we're at an MPA, because those are places where we're not going to take things home with us. We're going to leave only footprints and take only photos, and of course not leave any trash behind or anything like that. So with that, I'll go ahead and browse and see if we have any questions, or if you have a question, go ahead and type it in. Oh, it looks like somebody asked what kind of things live in South Humboldt Bay's MPA. So I talked about that. Again, our leopard sharks and our Dungeness crabs and our bat rays and lots of other things as well, like small invertebrates. Nudibranchs love to live, small sea slugs like to live on the eelgrass. Yeah, somebody asked, is the tide out? So right now it is low tide, so you can probably tell because you can't see a whole bunch of water, but coming out to the bay is a great place to come bird watching, especially around this time. There's tons of birds out here. I wish I had a little spotting scope for my iPad so you could see. But sometimes you can also see marine mammals. So there's tons of different animals, including invertebrates, mammals, fish that like to live in the Humboldt Bay. And these are places that are open for us to explore. So head on out to your local MPAs and learn something new. Download the iNaturalist app, document what you see, and share with us so we can check out what all of you are up to. Let's see, somebody asked, do other crabs leave molted shells on beaches? Yeah, great question. They absolutely do. And one thing that you can take away from this for sure is if you can identify if it's a Dungeness crab. So we do have other crabs, shells or carapaces that you can find on the beach, and you can identify if it's not a Dungeness crab by using some of those features. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Maybe we'll visit another MPA and learn about those places. Thanks so much. Leave your questions, share your videos, share with your friends. Thanks for practicing good social distancing. We appreciate you. See you soon.